best show for Chicago sports.
Yeah. What's good? We back. What is good, Bears fans? Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love to another edition of the Windy City Breeze Sports Talk Daily. The morning breeze is here. And oh yeah, we got something to talk about today as the Chicago Bears finish out the preseason in dominant fashion. Able to go and get that fourth dub yesterday. And we got to talk about our biggest takeaways from the preseason in general. Major question on the table right now. Did Velis Jones save his job yesterday? 111 yards, 13 carries. Able to get a touchdown in there as well. The date is 8/23/2024. It's 6:32 in the morning. And I need this coffee. Let's have a day, boys. Let's go! Yeah. Hey, kill the music. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's your boy, Pat, the designer, back at it again. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love to another edition of the Morning Breeze. We are up early. We do this 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. It will turn into a 5-day-a-week show, so stay tapped in with us, man. We got a lot to talk about, like I said today. A lot of content going on, a lot of Bears talk happening right now because we got to talk about our biggest takeaways from what I think is a fairly dominant preseason. The Chicago Bears came out at every opportunity. It feels like they used every opportunity the right way. It feels like this was a successful preseason, and they used it to their benefit. Shout out to Matt Eberflus for how he went about utilizing this year's preseason. Shout out to this Bears training staff for how they went about utilizing this year's preseason. It feels like there is a different kind of energy around this team. And even yesterday, it felt like that watching it with the Kansas City Chiefs, man. I mean, listen, the Bears came out, and you can't take much from a preseason game, but just the vibe around the team. When you see Tyson Bagent and them boys go out there, just the vibe around the team, just even the play calling that Shane Waldron was doing, right? When you're not changing the play calling, when you're like, hey, listen, we're going out here and we're running our game plan. That's a good thing to see. And so I thought we saw some really good things from the Chicago Bears. I feel like they've done a really good job with this preseason. I feel like they've done a really good job with this training camp, and I commend them for how they have utilized this camp, man. Some of my biggest takeaways from this camp, though. Let's start off here. Let's start off with the obvious one. Caleb Williams, ladies and gentlemen, is ready for the season. Good job. Again, kudos to the Chicago Bears. Hold on, I'm tweaking out here. I didn't say what up to the chat, man. Marco Smith in the building. Happy in the building. Yeah, appreciate y'all for tuning in, showing love, man. Nate Built It in the building. Chevio in the building. The Gaines Report in the building, man. Mr. RG in the building. Appreciate y'all for rocking with us this morning. The Chicago Bears did a phenomenal job getting Caleb Williams prepared for the season. That's all you can ask for. That's all I can ask for as a Bears fan. How are you able to get the quarterback ready to start off his NFL career? And dare I say, they've done a dang good job at it. I have to give them credit. I have to commend them for how they went about it. I feel like Caleb Williams, being the kind of quarterback that he is, also makes a difference in that. But, I mean, if we're being 100% honest, we've seen talented quarterbacks that it didn't click with this early. I think that my biggest takeaway from Caleb Williams' game, from how he was able to play, from his time on the field as well, is that you not only had a young man who, and it's also kudos to Caleb Williams as well. You not only had a young man who was able to go in there, stand in there, assess what defenses were throwing at him, understandably vanilla defenses, right? But assess what defenses were throwing at him. figure out, okay, this is how I can utilize my game to adapt to what I'm seeing right now, be able to see 2 or 3 different things at a time, take that information in, process it, and then make his decision based on that, whether with his arm or with his legs. I think that that's what should have Bears fans excited right now. Having a young man that can do that off the bat, like this is our starting point. And I said this a couple of times. On the show. The fact that this is your starting position is phenomenal. The fact that this is the spot that your team is starting the season in is phenomenal, because if we're being honest, you are not only more prepared, you have more talent, you have more of an ability to go out there and just punch a team in the mouth defensively. Like there's just so much more to this team at the 4th preseason game, yes, than where they were 4 games into the season last year. Because you utilize things the right way. You utilized your time to prepare your team the right way. Hit that like button if you agree. Subscribe to the page, man. Leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. I need y'all go ahead, do me a favor if you have not done so, man. Go ahead and
come on. Push the button. Come on. Push the button. Come on, push the button.
Yeah, come on, push your button.
You heard what she said.
Y'all heard what Sue Young said, man. Push the goddamn button. I have to commend this offensive staff for how they have utilized this time. I think that you have utilized this, the time that you have to prepare Caleb Williams perfectly. And we didn't see that last season. We're seeing a change. So the fact that not only, and it does go to Caleb Williams' preparedness as well, right? But even how you're seeing the play calling get done. Even how you're seeing the utilization of this quarterback. I've seen people come up to me and say, wow, this offensive line looks leaps and bounds better. I don't know if I would say that they look leaps and bounds better when you drop Caleb Williams straight back or Tyson Bagent straight back. I think that they look a heck of a lot better when you do a lot of naked boots and you do rollouts because you're moving the pocket. Hey, that's a novel idea. We've had 3 mobile quarterbacks or 2 mobile quarterbacks for our last 2 guys, and Shane Waldron's the first guy that ever was like, and maybe these guys aren't good enough to just drop a quarterback straight back. Maybe I shouldn't do that. It's the wildest concept in the world that, hey, if I've got this struggling offensive line, maybe I shouldn't just drop my quarterback straight back into the teeth of death. Maybe that's not going to be the best case scenario for him. Wild concept to throw out there. You know what I mean? It's good to see the Chicago Bears feel like not only in the front office, but also on the field, we are using basic common sense. We are using logic. I don't sit there and look at an offensive line that is just leaps and bounds improved. No, I look at an offensive line that isn't being put in positions to just set a quarterback up for failure. Good job. Proud of you, Shane. Calling a common sense offense that fits the personnel you have, that fits the team that you currently have. That's the best case scenario that you can hope for. I love how we're seeing this coaching staff utilize the team. And I have to commend Eric Washington as well. One of my other takeaways from preseason is if we're being honest, how Eric Washington has gone about the business of calling this defense, even with some of the input from Flus and different things like that, how he's gone about the business of calling this defense. I mean, I can't hate on anything that we saw in preseason. I think that he's done a phenomenal job. when it comes to I thought that he's done a phenomenal job when it comes to not only having the starters in a good position, but also having your backups in a good position and making things difficult. And I think that you did make some things difficult here. There's some names that you're going to take off of this list of players when we get to Tuesday's cut down day that are going to be names that you're like, man, he'd be nice on this team. I.e. a Daniel Hardy, i.e. a Reddy Stewart. Reddy Stewart's had a heck of a training camp and a heck of a preseason, i.e. a Josh Blackwell. Now, Josh Blackwell probably ends up making the team because of the special teams capabilities as well. But there's some names on there that you're going to have to look at and say, well, you know, if I'm sitting here and I got to pick guys to stick around, am I opting for Daniel Hardy over Reddy Stewart? No, am I opting for Reddy Stewart over Josh Blackwell? Am I opting for, right? Because you've got so much depth on the defensive end, so much preparedness, and it is a difference. And I don't know if you guys noticed this last night like I noticed it, but there is a difference in what I believe the philosophy of this team is. Dare I say the hits principle is on display, not just based on the starters that are out there, because last season it wasn't always just based on the starters. Not just based on the starters last season, but the fact that you've got the hits principle permeating through the entire team. You've got an entire team of players now that are all bought in to what you're selling. And yeah, we did have that a little bit toward the end of the season, but I think by the beginning of the season last year, we weren't in that position. We couldn't say that. By the way, over 100 in the chat. No. Shout out to the chat in the building. Legendary said, what happened to the live stream last night? YouTube thought y'all were about the box now. That was hilarious, though. We did kind of end the show on that. No, me and Kid were just playing around, dog. Me and Kid were just playing around. Calvin Swanson said, Pat, how many Red Bulls this morning? I know you had to be tired. What with your duties from last night? Salute to you, my brother. Hey, listen, man. I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm all good for having fun. The live streams are mostly fun for me. Sitting there chopping up, talking football. I mean, last night was more like we was just talking, enjoying a good time. Yeah, I mean, with the people that you rock with. So I basically had fun last night, and I had to wake up this morning. You do what you got to do, and at the end of the day, you do what you want when you popping. I think there's some names on this team. That made some decisions on Tuesday difficult. And that's a good spot to be in. As a coaching staff, Matt Eberflus and his team should be proud. Now, don't let it stop here. Let's carry it into the season, because you got 17 more days until your season gets started. Can you maintain the level of camp that you've had when you know that people are going to be much more tired, when you know that people are sick of training camp? And dare I say, we are all sick of training camp. It is not just the players. I'm sick of going up there and watching it. I can't wait. Next week, I'll be down in Florida. It'll be a great time just because it'll be a few days away from camp. We'll still have content coming you guys' way. I'll still be dropping videos as well, so tap in with us. Probably not as much live stuff, but still be dropping videos and all of that, so make sure you guys tap in with us, man. But I am been really impressed based on the fact that by the end of last season, last year, let's be real, most of us were not believers in Matt Eberflus. Most of us were not believers that, yeah, I mean, he's going to get the team to be behind him. He's a good motivator. That's cool. but are you actually going to change things? Are you the coach that's going to be best for Caleb Williams? At every step, at every turn, he has proved something different to me. And I think to a lot of Bears fans out there that no, it's not just a taper fade and a good beard. The swag is different. The intensity is different. He has his footing with his job now. He understands what it means to be a teacher in this league, not just a coach in this league from the head coach position. And so I commend Matt Eberflus. I commend Matt Eberflus. I commend his coaching staff. I think that they have done a phenomenal job, and I think that they've got some tough decisions they're going to have to make over the next week, man. Hit that like button if you haven't done so. Subscribe to the page. Leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. I do have a question for you right now. Did Velis do enough to save his spot on this team? Did Velis Jones do enough granted versus 2s and 3s, but we've been very excited about playing against 2s and 3s this entire preseason, right? And really Velis going out there versus the 3s and 4s. Did Velis do enough to save his spot on this team? And while I think this is a twofold question, right? While in my mind, he's not a running back. Yes, he did have 13 carries, 111 yards, touchdown. Good job. While in my mind, he's not a running back. While in my mind, I would not opt to keep him as one of the options on the team. While in my mind, I do not feel like he is someone that you can sit there and go, oh no, I have confidence that this dude is going to be able to go out there and make plays on a night in, night out basis. I don't believe that he is that guy. In my mind, do I think that Ryan Poles is going to cut him? Absolutely not. Do I think that Ryan Poles is going to move off of the running back or the young player that he drafted? Do I think that Ryan Poles is going to, it has a bit of a blind spot for his young guys? I absolutely do. I absolutely do. And I think last night was just enough leeway. Last night was just enough of a, I still got something, it's working. Don't give up on me yet. I believe that last night was enough of that. I gave you just enough of a taste of what you want to see for the Chicago Bears to keep Velis Jones here. And listen, I get it. When you're a GM, you want your guys to pan out. You want to find the diamond in the rough. You want to find that gem. And I guess if Velis Jones runs back one touchdown with that new kickoff rule, that you feel better about him. But am I going to sit here and tell you that I think that Velis Jones has been better than Ian Wheeler? Am I going to sit here and tell you that I think that Velis Jones has been more consistent at the running back position? Sure. Can you say that he's gotten better every week at it? Maybe you can. But for me, it comes down to what's the end game? What's the final goal for this team? What's the finish for this team with Velis Jones? Because are you re-signing Velis Jones here? Is that a conversation that we're having? Are we keeping V12 in the building? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what the final goal is for Velis. I don't know if you're trying to go out there and actually have him long-term be a part of this team as a running back. We got that position covered. I don't know if you saw it. You threw Travis Homer out there to start the game. He looks like a good running back. But he wants his guys to be a part of this team. He wants his guys to get their shot. And do I think that last night was enough of a showing for you to go out there and say that Velis is a one of those 53 best players on the team? I guarantee that probably was enough for him. Do I agree with that? I don't. Because when it becomes a real situation, when are you using Velis Jones? When it becomes a real situation, when are you using Velis Jones? Am I using Velis over Roshan or Herbert or DeAndre Swift? Is Velis cracking one of those top 5 wide receiver spots? We're not even seeing heavy use of Velis on the kick return anymore. And I see a lot of people saying Homer didn't help himself. Homer's going to be cut. Homer's not going anywhere. Travis Homer is one of your best special teamers. That's what sets him apart. I know that you guys think it's like Madden that you can just throw anybody back there on special teams. You can't. He's not going to be cut. Travis Homer will be a part of this team. For me though, if we're asking the question about Velis, I just don't know where during a real season we're utilizing Velis. I don't. I get it for preseason, right? In the second half, you're not putting anybody out there. In the second half, you can put the threes and the fours out there and just give them a half to go out there and play ball. That's how that works, right? That don't work during the regular season. So I ask y'all again, if we're keeping Velis Jones, when are we utilizing him? Or is it at this point just a feel-good story? Because the ferret passed away. RIP to the ferret. But, you know, even last night he was talking after the game. And he's like, you know, I'm learning some things. I'm learning the blocking scheme. It's a lot more than just being a runner and all this. Absolutely. Glad that you're learning it. Do we expect Velis to become one of the top 3 running backs on this team? I don't know. I don't. Maybe they do. It would tell me a lot about Ryan Poles one way or the other, the V12 conversation and the Dominique Robinson conversation. It would tell me a lot about Ryan Poles. Because this is the first time where it's really coming down to, because remember, they're both a part of his first draft class. This is the first time where it's really coming down to, hey, we might need to move on from some of the names of some people who are on our draft class. Excuse me. We might need to move on from some of the people who were a part of our initial draft class. I mean, you got to think about this. Some of the names that you could be moving on from this season are the initial names that Ryan Poles brought in: a Doug Kramer, Dominique Robinson, Velis Jones. Those are original. That's part of the original class. Are you going to be able to make that tough decision? Are you going to be able to actually walk into the room and say, listen, we appreciate everything that you've done here. We thank you for playing the work version of our game. Have a nice life. Because this is the first year where you're going to actually have to do that. And if we don't see that happen, I said this the other day, it would absolutely tell me that there is a blind spot for the guys that you've selected. Because none of those guys have done anything to me in this preseason that warrants sticking around on this team. Let me know your thoughts, man. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Showing love. Hit the like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Let's talk about some of the standouts. Let's talk about some of those guys that did make the jobs difficult. Shout out to Daniel Hardy. Shout out to Austin Booker. I'm going to tell you this right now. And I'm going to start with Austin Booker here. I know we missed out on Matthew Judon. And I'm not saying that Austin Booker is Matthew Judon. But when you talk about a diamond in the rough, which in my mind, I don't even know if it was that much of a diamond. I mean, like, I give myself credit because of how much stuff I watch pre-draft. But I mean, at the end of the day, when I can sit there and watch a guy and go, this guy's really freaking good, you probably should draft him. I don't know if I can sit there and say he was this magical diamond in the rough. Like, I'm glad that the Bears were able to go out there and find Austin Booker. But dog, he defies the logic of what a 240-pound defensive end should be able to do, because I think a lot of people are enamored with the natural spin move that he has, right? The speed that he has to get around that outside edge. I think a lot of people are enamored with how he utilizes the long arm to be able to push himself off and get back to the inside and get in the face of the quarterback. I think that that's what's caught a lot of people's attention. You know what's caught my attention in preseason? There are times where Austin Booker just said, I'm going to go through your chest and I'm going to push you directly back into the quarterback or directly back into the running back. And there's not a thing that you can do to stop it. And I understand this is the 2s and the 3s, but those are still big dudes playing left tackle out there. Not only do I feel like you need to make sure that you have a spot, because we knew kind of that Austin Booker was going to be a part of this team. Bears drafted him. They really don't get rid of like their 4th and 5th round picks that often heading into the season, right? Actually, I don't think it's happened at all under the Ryan Poles regime. But when you talk about finding a diamond in the rough, finding a gem, I don't think that there's any bigger gem that has been found. Dare I say, he might be somebody to watch for the steal of the draft than Austin Booker. Because it's not just he's fast and gets to the outside. It's not just he's got a nice little natural spin move that he uses. Sometimes it's literally like last night, little handoff to the outside. Austin Booker's making his block. He's pushing his man straight backwards, and then the running back comes his way, and you just see with the other arm. I can't even do it because like the camera's too close, but you see the other arm just reach out. He's holding his lineman. He's holding his man and the running back and brings them both down. Dare I say he could be somebody we're talking about competing to start by the time we get 3 to 4 weeks into the season. A gem, an absolute gem. I am so excited for what Austin Booker can bring to this Bears defense, and I think that he's going to be able to show that early on. I forget what it was. I remember we were doing this on the Chicago Bears podcast. We did kind of like the odds heading into the season, and there were odds on him as far as defensive rookie of the year. I don't know if he gets that, but the conversation was basically, could he win defensive rookie of the year? And could he get over, I want to say it was 5.5 sacks. Dare I say, if you were a betting man, check out that over. I'm not a gambler. But if you are, check out that over. That's how good I feel about this young man. And I think that's how good the Chicago Bears feel about this young man. By the way, real quick, over 200 in the chat. 200. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. 151 in here on the YouTube side, man. 57 over on the X side. Repost this over on X. Hit that repost, retweet button. Hit the like button over on the YouTube side as well. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. Got to talk about some of the other dogs that we got a chance to see. Got to talk about some of the other dogs. Daniel Hardy's going to make it tough to part with him, bro. When you talk about two guys that got motor, of course, Austin Booker, Flus talked about that as well. But Daniel Hardy, my goodness. Have yourself a day, young man. Daniel Hardy, there are just guys who have a nose for the football. And what I mean by that is you just find yourself by the ball. Daniel Hardy consistently through preseason just finds himself next to the ball. Oh, strong rush to the outside. Guess what? Oh, look at that player right here. Boom, let me just hit him. I might as well. I'm here. I might as well bring him down. I got nothing but time here. I'm here. Dare I say, another name you got to throw out there as well. Why I think cut downs are going to be tough. Everybody sat there and talked about what Noah Sewell was going to be. Oh, Noah Sewell is going to be this. Oh, Noah Sewell's got this, right? He's coming up next. He's got a shot. Noah Sewell can't get on the field. You know who looks very much like Noah Sewell, though? The guy that we're hoping to be Noah Sewell? Micah Baskerville. Have yourself a day, young man. When you talk about, and this is why I say this all the time, I want y'all to remember where we're at right now. This is why I say this every year when somebody either comes asking for that absolute ridiculous number, or when somebody comes out asking for too much money. It's not because I dislike the players that I'm usually like, I think we can find that guy again. It's because I've seen the history of the Chicago Bears. They usually can find that guy again. So when everybody was sitting there talking about, y'all probably don't remember this, but a couple years ago, you got to keep Robert Quinn. How can you get rid of Robert Quinn off of his 18.5 sack season? What's wrong with you, Pat? I can find that guy again. Dare I say we just found two of them. We're good at finding that guy. Oh, how could you want to move on from this linebacker? He's so good. He's ridiculous. And you're gonna say that he's got so much potential. You just hating on him. I'm not hating on him. We can find that guy again. There are three things that I know that the Chicago Bears will be able to find. This whole, which side is up? This whole symbol here, this whole bear head and the C and the Bears, all of that is built off of running backs, linebackers, and defensive ends. So when people are sitting there like, oh, Pat, you just hating on this guy. No, I'm not. I just know that no matter what, for some reason, anytime we need to find the underground linebacker or end, we got it covered. Because you got two dudes that I'm not going to lie. If you think you're going to cut and sneak them onto your practice squad, you are sorely mistaken. And both of those guys on the defensive end right now look like you might have to put them on the 53. Oh, and by the way, you found them at a perfect time because you're getting to the point with DeMarcus Walker's contract where maybe you want to bring him back, maybe you don't. You love the energy that D-Walk brings into the building, but it feels like you found two young pieces that you can utilize moving forward. Are they going to be the best pieces? No, but are they the affordable pieces? Probably. And they're going to have that time to develop. This is why you always hear me say, I'm not worried about going out and finding that guy. Bears have some gems on the defensive end. In my mind, at least 3 of them. And then you're also still not talking about a guy like Terrell Smith. You're also still not talking about a guy like Reddy Stewart. Can the Bears do some wheeling and dealing? I don't know why I got a little frog in my throat this morning. Excuse me. Can the Bears get some wheeling and dealing done? And by wheeling and dealing, I mean, listen, there's some players who played yesterday that looked really good. Can you get some draft capital maybe late? Are you willing to move off of those names? If you don't feel like that you're going to put them on the 53. And I guarantee you this, Bears fans, someone will not be on the 53 that we feel should be on the 53. Someone will not be on the 53 that we feel should be on the 53. It's going to happen. Names like Ian Wheeler, names like right, like Terrell Smith's probably on the 53, but like somebody like that who has had a really good preseason. Could you see the Bears possibly moving on from him because of the depth you have with a guy like Reddy Stewart in the building, right? Like those are the conversations that are going to be tough over this next couple of weeks. And here's an even tougher conversation I'm going to throw at you guys. Here's an even tougher conversation I'm going to throw at you guys. And hit that like button if you haven't done so. Subscribe to the page. Do you believe that Tyson Bagent is one of the top 32 quarterbacks in the NFL? Because I do. I think that Tyson Bagent is better than some NFL starters that are in the league right now. And I'm trying to pull up a list of all the starting quarterbacks for the season here. This was a lot bigger of a list than I thought it was going to be here. All right, so here we go. Let's run through some of these names. Now, I don't think that you'll do this because of division, but if Minnesota called you, do you feel that Tyson Bagent is better than Sam Darnold? I do. Will Levis is probably better. I would say Stroud is better. Steelers is a weird situation. I doubt that we'll see another quarterback going over there. Maybe midway through the season, there's a conversation there. New Orleans with Derek Carr. I'm going to still give Derek Carr the edge there, but you know that they're looking for new. Matt Stafford. Vegas Raiders. Tyson Bagent knows the system already that's going on out there. Could we see something like that? Patriots. I think that Tyson Bagent's got the edge there. Panthers. I think that's just a bad situation. Don't trade him to the Panthers if you did something like that. We keep going. Daniel Jones. Give me Tyson Bagent. Who else we got on here? Commanders got their situation locked up. Indianapolis Colts. Anthony Richardson. I mean, who knows? I mean, that's a weird situation. Cleveland Browns with Deshaun. I think they're probably rolling with Deshaun no matter what there. Broncos is already picked up. I would say give me Bo Nix over Tyson probably. But, I mean, when you're talking about top quarterbacks in the NFL, or top starters, I should say, in the NFL, if you get a call for Tyson Bagent, hey, we got a 4th round pick, future 4th. We want your backup quarterback. You doing it? Are you moving on? Because you have to understand where the league is going as well. You have to keep up with where the league is heading. You've got an NFL that is probably going to 18 games. I would dare I say as soon as next season, possibly. You're going to 18 games probably as soon as next season. You're going to need a good backup quarterback. Now, the question is, can you keep re-signing Tyson Bagent just to be your backup, or do you end up losing him for nothing in the long run? But if a team comes calling about Tyson Bagent, are you moving off of him? That's a tough. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's a tough call for me. Because while I do think that there is value in one having a guy like Brett Rippon, who's also a solid backup quarterback in this league, while I do think there's value there, I think that we're moving towards the time where you almost have to have a backup quarterback that you feel ridiculously good about, not just a body. You're going to have backup quarterbacks. You're going to start seeing guys draft quarterbacks just to be the backup quarterback. Guys who are solid pieces. You're going to start seeing teams do that because of the length of the season. And a lot of what you're going to see as well is what the Bears did. You're going to see a ton of bringing in 4 or 5 quarterbacks, getting a bunch of guys to understand the system, getting a bunch of guys to understand the terminology because of situations like this where teams are going to go, maybe we move on from this guy because he's in a contract year, but we got this pipeline of QBs already ready to go. I think that's a tough conversation to have, but it may end up being a real conversation that gets had because I'm not going to lie to you. As we start to go through the season, there are some quarterbacks out there that just aren't good. Can I start it over with a 24-year-old player who has a ton of upside right now? By giving up some draft capital. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave that 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Levante said it ain't tough at all. Keep Bagent. I love that we've got so much love for the backup QB as well. I love that we have so much love for the backup QB as well. Happy said, you need a competent backup quarterback in this league nowadays. Too many injuries every year. We saw what happened last year. 100%. I agree with you. I think that you do. Well, listen, Ebony, listen. He said he'd rather get a second for Bagent. If somebody offers you a second for Bagent, hey, we appreciate you, Tyson. You give him the 2-hand shake. You know what I mean? You know where you grab both sides of the hand and shake? You know what I mean? We appreciate you, brother. Hey, you keep your head up. Keep the hair growing. Hey, you pack your stuff. Somebody offers you a 2 for Tyson Bagent. You tell him you help him start paying. Like, no, don't even worry about it. We got somebody already packing your things. How'd you get in my house? Don't worry about it. We know where the key's at. But I feel like you have to, that's not as easy of a conversation as it once was. And you also have to take into account, while yes, we may all want Tyson on this team. We may all want Tyson to continue to be a part of this team. But at the end of the day, does Tyson want to continue to be a backup player? Probably not. We heard him in Hard Knocks say, I don't want to be, my goals are not to be a player coach. Some people are resigned to that. Some people are okay with, I'm gonna just be the player coach guy. I'm gonna be the guy that, I mean, hey, this is not a bad line of work. I get paid, what is he, $2.7 million over 3 years? Not a bad line of work at all to just be the clipboard guy. It's not what Tyson wants. Tyson said, get me in the game, coach. I can go win some games for you. So you have to take that into account as well. Because you could lose Tyson just because Tyson don't want to be a backup no more. You know he's got to be looking around the league going, I know I can outplay that guy. And I'm not going to lie to you. If you are a young quarterback, right now, and you look at New York, are you not saying, send me there? If you look at the Giants right now, or even the Jets, what I got to do? I got to sit behind Aaron Rodgers for a year, 2 years? I can do that. When you look at both New York teams, is that not the spot you want to be in? Wait a minute. Who's my head coach? I get Brian Dable as a head coach? What's he been doing? Oh, just trying to stay alive with Daniel Jones? Okay, no, we can make that. Okay. All right. Who's my wide receiver? Malik Neighbors. Oh, they just got Neighbors. Okay. No, I can make something work over there. I can make that happen. Like I just feel like we're coming into a different world with the backup quarterback market. And are you going to look to raise the price on backup QBs to keep a guy like Bagent around? Right now, you don't have to have that conversation. That's more of a future conversation. But it is a conversation you're going to have when he continues to play the way that he's been able to play. Like Levante said, or you pay him handsomely. Are we going to raise the price on the backup QB market? I think you're going to see a healthy flux of money start to go that direction for teams that have good backups. I think you're going to start seeing teams backup QBs getting paid a little bit more because of the length of games that's going to happen during the season. With Lamar Jackson, you almost expect for him to miss 3 to 4 games a year. Chicago Bears, shout out to you. Don't know how you got that name, unless it's the real Chicago Bears in here, but that's not the logo that I remember seeing. Said, disagree, Chicago is a better spot. I'm not saying that Chicago is not a better spot to be, but it's about, do you want to start? If I want to be a starter and I'm a young backup QB and I feel like I'm better, I'm looking at the Giants and going, I got Brian Dable, Malik Neighbors. I got some pieces I can work with over there. I got a great system to be in, and a solid defense that just added Brian Burns. No, I can make something happen there. Let's go do it. Let's go have some fun. But that's just me. If I was young and playing in the NFL, those are the teams that I would look at, especially if I'm playing like Tyson, because I know I can beat Daniel Jones. I know I'm better than him. Daniel Jones can't throw the football out of the end zone to not throw a pick six into the end zone. How do you even do that? There's a lot of tough decisions that are going to have to be made. We're going to break it down even more today at 4. Me and the super producer Joel Holt will be live again at 4. Stay tapped in with us, man. Hit that like button if you haven't done so. Subscribe to the page. Leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. I'm going to leave y'all with that. That's the question of the day right now. If a team comes calling about Tyson Bagent, do you trade him? I'll leave you guys with that. I appreciate y'all for showing love as always, man. Like I said, we'll be back today at 4. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Bird Don, one love. Peace. Do a little outro music on that. How about a little outro? A little outro music, man. I'll let y'all know.
Red Nation, are we here? the best show for Chicago sports.